Bienvenidos. I wish I could show you my backyard because my cherry tree is messed up this year. Like it blooms in January and then it's like, what's going on? And now it's February 5th and it's like freaking summertime out there.
So I walk my dog every day, like 2 or 3 miles. And I was noticing the same thing. There's slugs and there's snails out and there's buds on all the trees. And
The stuff
I'm
is so
seeing birds that I
confused.
never see at this time of year. It's just been
hmm
crazy.
Yeah, I remember years ago when I worked in Liberty Park at an after school program. Oh my gosh, I'm planting a little seed for a little bit later. That one year, because we had such a mild winter, and I don't know how like the whole food chain worked in this instance, but what had happened was that for whatever reason, whatever took care of moths in their gestating phase didn't do it. And so like the whole park for like a month was just infested with like these moths and they were just everywhere. And it was just due to that mild winter. It's pretty crazy. 6 more weeks of winter. Puxatawny Phil. Last Sunday was a good day. I was like, I could get stuck in this for 10,000 years. And now that I have a piano, I could learn it as well as Bill Murray did. I'm gonna just pop over here to show you guys some of our, introductory stuff. I feel like, we're here at 3:03, which means that we could get going. Alrighty, my name is John Lyman. I'm Student Data Privacy Specialist at the Utah State Board of Education. Joining me on this lineup of student data privacy folks, we have Katie Chalice on the left, our director, who is here with us today. Nicole Sanchez, my collaborator in all things with the LEAs. Melissa, who works with us internally. Jeremy, who a lot of you know that does stuff internally and with the LEAs and helps you with all of your security things. And then Nicole, who makes sure that we can travel to see all of you in person. And we will be traveling a little bit here in the next few months. So let's go over our agenda today. We're going to just go as quickly as we do. Odds are we will not be going until the end of the day, unless, Dave Bowman enters the chat. Then we might be going all day. So you never know what the timing of all this is. And I've got to get this out before his audio connects. Okay, so calendar. And then we have, I'm going to remind some of you that our application menu has been updated and it will continue to recurringly stay fresh so that you can make sure that the products that you're looking for, um, you can tell if they're available or not. We've got some SDPC webinars that we've been starting to catalog, data minimization, and then gosh, was it 2 weeks ago now already when we were all in Bryce Canyon, watching the navigating data privacy challenges in AI-driven ed tech tools. Those will be available to you. We're going to talk about parental consent and after school programs. Ha ha ha. That's why I mentioned after school. And we've got some compliance check in stuff with Nicole. I heard some news. It wasn't necessarily about a groundhog, but some we're ready to pivot in some of our compliance space. We'll have a minute to discuss how you can stay abreast of all of the legislative session stuff, and then we will do a second round of what we're calling USPA After Hours, where the recording will end, and we can have some dialogue around concerns or things that you may want to discuss. Let's just jump in right here. I've got the chat open. I'm making sure that people can come in when we need to. All right, let's get going. All right, so it is already February. When I put this calendar together, it always kind of freaks me out at what a 4 month outlook looks like. We are here on this space tomorrow. For those of you that may not know, the board meeting will follow this meeting the next day. So, if we come across things that are going to be discussed at the board meeting that should be passed on to you, we'll be able to do that. But that link should take you and you'll be able to take a look at what their agenda is for tomorrow. And just keep in mind that during legislative session, the board meets each week. So there is a lot of movement in that space. We have a holiday coming up, and then we've got USET. Holy cow. That is coming up. Our team will be there. We will be doing our AI teaching presentation. How's exactly the teaching and AI and educators? So we will be doing that there. So if you have educators that you would like to nudge to come visit us at USET, we will be able to give you a little bit more specifics on date, time, and location. But that's about 3 weeks out. Legislative session will end. You see there in the bottom right-hand corner. That's good and bad sometimes. It depends on what the trajectory is and what kind of things kind of start scrambling towards the deadline there. And then March, there's a lot of travel. I know after being in Bryce Canyon that there are some of you that are actually interested in expanding your data privacy scope beyond what we do in the state of Utah. And maybe you, as a district, like many other districts nationally, want to do that kind of networking within those other realms. And so I do know that there are a few of you that have in the past participated in these conferences. And so I wanted to make you aware that in March, the A4L, the Access for Learning group that is our partner in SDPC, they will be having their annual conference in Washington, D.C. Nicole and I will be there. We will be talking about Registry 2.0, the Student Data Privacy Registry 2.0, which we are still looking at for, I believe, a June, July rollout. Our hope is that we can come back from this conference and be able to detail for you all of the potential nuances that you should expect. We are also in a really good spot with our NDPA version 2.1. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Actually, I'll talk about it now because I didn't make a slide Memorial Day rollout. Oh, yeah, I think we're around there. Okay. You're in all caps, Caleb. Are you yelling at me? Um, it's Labor Day, Caleb. So I can tell you that NDPA version 2.1 has been approved by all of the entities at A4L. They are going to be going in, doing all of the typesetting, the double spacing, all the stuff that needs to be done. The factors that have been included are a mechanism for so NDPA version 2.1. You guys are all talking trash. That's funny. 2.1, the reason why it is at 2.1 is the draft version that we have available on our USPA hub has been augmented to include, because this agreement does not have an expiration date, the opportunity for you and or the vendor, should anything change in that Exhibit A realm. Gosh, Jordan, do you guys only have caps locks? Goodness. Uh, Exhibit A, if that changes, okay, so there will be the ability to add different amendments to that, just like we do at the state level. So when things change, and then Exhibit B should have the ability to change data points as well, should those change. And then I do know that there is we're so these will be iterative versions, and there will be a 2.2 that will probably include some sort of AI addendum work. And um, so if you want to participate, I know that maybe one of our North St. Pete friends was like, hey, I might want to go to Washington, D.C. The links are there. We will be coming back with some goodies to share with you. Also, we will be going to Seattle, as you can see, at the end of March, beginning of April. I don't know if any of you do that. I know that Jason Ayer from Murray is pretty big, and I'm gonna give you guys an executive order in just a second. Um, that COSIN is a pretty big national group. As you can see, human leadership in a world of AI. That's AI was pretty big there last year, of course, and it's pretty big everywhere we go. Let's jump into April. You can see here, mark the date for our spring training. That will be probably in the morning of the 16th of April. So put that in your bonnets. And then, oh my gosh, this is what was freaking me out. May, like what? And I was putting a question mark here because traditionally in May, we right before we do the school's out for summer thing, we do have a conversation about what we anticipate next fall looking like. So I'm just kind of meh, eh, don't this is penciled in, even though it's pencil. But just keep that in mind. Okie dokie. The menu has been updated. It is clean. I really like this table thing that Google Docs has put in here because then it allows you as the viewer of this shared public table to be able to sort right up here into different cohorts of information. As you can see down here, we have all of these different color-coded tabs. We're going from red, which is probably your most firm agreement, all the way down to purple, which is your, well, blue and purple, we'll say that they're kind of in the same realm, which is your most malleable agreement, I would say. And given things that have happened nationally and locally over the last few months, I think that we might want to make sure that we're in this realm with a lot of that stuff. And maybe after hours, we can talk about some of this stuff. But as you can see here, the menu is hopefully a lot easier for you to navigate and tell what stuff is available. And if you have your teachers and faculty access this space, then hopefully it's a little bit more user friendly for them to, and gives them directions to come back to you. What we have here are our webinars. The one on the top left, webinar, data minimization. As you can see, our Jeremy Zabriskie was a part of that. If you were to click on this on the shared document, it will take you directly to that recording, which is an hour. And then on the bottom right is the one that we had 2 Wednesdays ago with our good friend Matt Winters, all of our AI product friends that traveled the state with us, and then our good buddy, in the national realm, Ray Mahali. She does the work that Nicole Jeremy, Katie, and I do, but she does it on behalf of a nonprofit, and they cover 10 states. So they're doing the negotiation on behalf of 10 states all at once. So we wanted to bring in her expertise. A lot of it, as you can see, is talking about how these vendors are engineering for privacy. And for those of you that saw the chat, this wasn't all unicorns and fairy dust. Like there was some interesting commentary and, some dialogue around the idea of digital divides and, paying for privacy. And I think that those are some, rhetorical conversations that we can have as a group as far as, should you have to pay for privacy? And if you do, and how do we mitigate all these things and how do we train for this? I worked in after school programming for about 25 years. My office was the middle of Liberty Park for about 16. It was fantastic. I loved it. One of the things that we were always charged with doing in the after school realm was proving our efficacy, proving that having that additional adult time after school for that 3 to 6 p.m. time when our crime rates are the highest, to be able to provide that space for our economy so that parents can stay at work. And in the summer. And one of the real big hurdles that had occurred for years and years and years was for these programs to tie what they do after school with whatever progress that shared student is making during the school day. And so it was always kind of viewed as like this golden ticket that if a lot of these programs were able to find a way to correlate the data that they could then present to legislators and funders, that their support in these out of school time realms is beneficial, especially with the amount of youth in our state that could use these types of spaces, and they are not available to them due to funding in all sorts of different areas. So what I'm showing you right here, and of course these are all clickable, the overarching group in our state is called the Utah After School Network, and they are the umbrella group that helps provide guidance and resources and quality measurement for the after school program. So that's like boys and girls clubs and 4-H's and girls who what is it, the running one? Oh crap, I can't remember that one. Anyway, there are so many different opportunities. So what was we were able to consult with the after school folks, take a look at all of our data privacy agreements, laws, and try to come up with the best way for them to get what they need and for them to make it so like lacking in burden for you that these kinds of data sharing moments can happen. So what you can see on the left is that is actually from the Utah After School Network to the folks that run the after school programs themselves. Those are like the best practices on talking to parents and making sure that they do use data minimization. I mean, some of these are for federal grants that we have internally at USBE, 21st Century grant money. Then the second two pieces over here are the ones that will be shared with parents and with data managers. And so what we wanted to do was have them develop a proprietary parental consent form from after school so that if you data managers were presented with one of these forms from any one of the community partners in the state, you would know that this is a very rudimentary process. It's all been vetted, and that these folks are do their due diligence to make sure that the data that you manage is utilized. But as you can see here as well, that this is directly a parental consented form. And so we've tried they're this middle page is essentially what are the data points that they would like, why, and who's going to share it. Very clean. And we're actually, even though these after school programs are not governed directly by FERPA because they don't by and large receive money from the Department of Education, we are really excited at the fact that they are adopting FERPA and our privacy landscape best practices so that we can do the work that we do from 9 to 3. And then these kids aren't going to some place adjacent to your school and throwing all that data right out there because these folks don't necessarily have the cognizance to be aware of the landscape that we're dealing with all of the time. And so we're trying to align with all of the community partners, all of the folks that are a part of the framework for the youth in our community. And they will be doing their due diligence to make sure that this is all taken care of. So if you guys have any questions, let me know, but they have published this out to their users. I don't know if anybody has seen one of these come across their desk. But yeah, this is a really big thing for them. And I'm excited that they may have the opportunity to scale and to serve the youth in our communities. I believe that our friend Nicole may have some comments. Nicole, are you ready to hop in?
Yeah, I actually, breaking news, added some slides at the very last second. So if you could just like, I don't know, reload it or whatever.
You got it.
Thanks.
Gosh, isn't like
Perfect.
Google like the coolest freaking thing? We just do it all in the background. Presenter view, you can see my.
Spoiler alert. Okay, awesome.
Let's see.
So,
There we go.
as you can see here, the compliance review is finished as of 30 minutes ago. Which I feel like maybe I'm more excited about than you guys, but I've been working on this project for like a while. So,
3 months. Holy cow.
yeah, it's been crazy. It took way longer to complete than I originally planned. So, couple things. First of all, these are the initial results. You can see it doesn't look really great. And I wanted to show this for two reasons. The first of which is if you get your report back and you're not compliant, please don't panic because you're in good company. The second of which is that you only need like one mistake to be marked non-compliant or partially compliant, I guess is the better way to say it. So I would say for the majority of you, when you get your report back, you will need to do maybe 10 minutes of work to get yourself compliant, which is good news. For a handful of you, you might need to put in an hour or more. And for a couple of you, you may need to put in some pretty good quality time to get caught up. But I'm here to help. And I am confident that this number is going to go way up in the coming weeks. If you can go to the next slide, John. Yeah, thank you, gracias. Okay, so you can see here kind of the number one concern area is the student data collection notice. I mentioned that in the last meeting as well. Almost nobody passed this one because there was an update in statute, and many of you just either didn't know about it or maybe forgot to update it. Yeah, thanks, Katie. And unfortunately, I did not understand the Pac-Man jokes because I did not play Pac-Man as a kid, and I'm so sorry to all of you Pac-Man fans. But yes, that is the goal, to destroy Pac-Man. Anyway, so the student data collection notice, not really all that concerned about because it's going to be a really quick fix. The metadata dictionary is kind of in the same area where there's a couple little clerical things that need to be dealt with, but it's going to be okay. The data governance plan is the bigger area of concern, and I mentioned this last month as well, so this isn't new information. But I just, I am not too young for Pac-Man. Actually, probably I am because I didn't play it like at the arcade. I'm so sorry. Also, I don't know who is here under my name, but that's awesome. The data governance plan. If you get your report back and you are not compliant with your data governance plan, please don't panic. I am here to help you. I know everything about the data governance plan now after having read 157 of them. So I'm here to help and support, and together we will defeat Pac-Man, which, as I understand it, is not great because he's the good guy, right? Yeah. So either way, we're going to defeat Pac-Man. So here's kind of action steps or whatever. If you can go to that next one. Yeah. So first of all, you're going to get your results in your inbox either this afternoon or sometime tomorrow. If you don't get your results by the end of day tomorrow, that is an error. It means that I don't have the right contact information for you. Some of you are metadata dictionary managers, or you're like supporting the primary data manager. So even though you're the one who turned in the survey and maybe even did all the work for it, it's going to go to whoever is listed as the primary data manager. So the first thing you should do if you don't get a result either sometime today or sometime tomorrow is go check with whoever is the actual primary data manager and see if they got it. And then the second thing to be aware of is I was very optimistic when I made the results form, and it says on there that resubmissions would be due on February 15th. That was back when I thought I was going to be sending you your results in like December, which did not happen. So I have extended that deadline to April 1st. So that gives you like a pretty solid 7 weeks to get this taken care of. The resubmission instructions on the paper on the PDF that you'll get are correct. It's just that the due date will say that it's February 15th, and that's not correct. And it just doesn't really make sense for me to go back and update that one thing on all of your PDFs. So I'm sorry about that. And then as far as support, if you need help, please get a hold of me. I've talked to several people in the last couple of weeks who have told me they're concerned about this audit. And I really want people to think of this not as like a summative exam that you don't have an opportunity to fix, and think of it more as an opportunity for improving your practice and to get some one-on-one coaching. So if you are in need of some support, please sign up for an appointment, call me, email me, whatever, and we'll get you taken care of. I'll also be holding a brief optional webinar sometime next week that will kind of go over some of the big issues that I have been seeing so that we can kind of knock that out all in one for everybody who needs that. The information about that will be in the email that you'll get sometime today or tomorrow. I did want to ask though, if you guys could maybe just stick in the chat, what is a day of the week and a time of day that is the least inconvenient for you to attend a brief optional webinar? Like, would you rather have it on a Wednesday afternoon or a Friday morning, as an example? So if you could just kind of stick that in the chat, what is your easiest time to sneak away from the rest of your many, many responsibilities? Understanding that it will be optional. And I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to record it and make it available after the fact. Okay, I see Friday morning and Wednesday afternoon. So, oh, that's 2 Wednesday afternoons. Okay, I guess that clinches it. Okay. Go ahead and just keep sticking it in the chat. Thank you guys. You are wonderful. And I will get that information out to you. And as we have said at many, many presentations lately, we are so nice, right, John? I just don't want anybody to be afraid of asking for help. We are here to help. So let's get it taken care of, and just reach out and let us know what we can do to help you. And I think that's it. If anybody has any questions about anything I just said, let me know.
We're so nice, we might give you cavities.
Hey, I have only had one cavity in my whole life. So yeah.
I
Bye,
have to say,
Katie.
Rick Anthony, you got to take a little screenshot of your background because that sun is beaming in right behind you, and you've got like this amazing like glow. I'm serious. Capture that. It's no, don't disappear. It looks cool. Oh, all right. So I don't think we're halfway through. I think we're maybe on the halfway, almost half me. Maybe next week is halfway. These are ways that you can stay in the know with everything we do. K12 privacy at list.uen.org. Clickable. Same thing for records. Remember, the appointed records manager is always somebody that you should have in your loop if you're not already that person. They are the ones that we need to coordinate with as far as retention. If something is available, it's obtainable. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't necessarily have to be reproduced, depending upon a lot of factors in that we have our retention schedule, which is here in our and if you guys do not have this space bookmarked, is everybody able to see this? Did I share correctly to where you can see the Canvas course? Yes? You see the Canvas course? No?
Yeah, John, we do.
Okay. I just didn't know if I shared the tab or the screen. So what we have in here in our resource area is a lot of stuff. We have our stuff regarding metadata dictionary, different agreement stuff. We got some model things for vendors. I know that some of you were asking a little bit ago about Potentia or where our model parental consent forms. That's where you can find our model parental consent form. Ways to communicate with vendors. different guidance and stuff down here. And actually, just so you know, we are working on new guidance with Scratch. We've been working on talking to Scratch, some of them. I know that there's some new iterations, so continue to work with Scratch in the way that you are, but hopefully, in the future, we'll have some new guidance to give you with Scratch. But
Hey,
then what I was
John.
really hoping to show you is this piece, this record management piece. Here we go. Retention.
Hey, John, on that scratch thing,
Yeah.
um, as you're having that conversation, one of those things that can be very helpful too to think about as you're working on that DPA stuff is
Mhm.
any of those tools that kind of allow community created content,
Right.
right? Because it's like, yeah, there's the data sharing piece, but it's the student made this is the Pac-Man game, and they need Scratch to do their homework, but they're also just playing Pac-Man all day, right? Or in Scratch in particular, we find they can make inappropriate content all the time, right? And so help from them, if you're getting a chance to actually talk to them, is like, yo, like, hey, this is a thing too.
Well, and I'll tell you, so we had communication with them and CTE. We showed them the guidance that we've been sharing. Um, we talked, and I think a lot of the times vendors don't necessarily understand how how the DPA makes their life easier as far as like being able to scale and do all of these things. And so I think that we're at the stage of like, hey, guys, this is how we've been operating, and we know that you have some changes ahead. And they let us know about some changes, but they were going to take our guidance as far as like, what the NDPA looks like and go back to their relative folks. And so I believe that we'll be on a path of getting these things. And I will say this, the literacy that we see in you as our group, the fact that it is becoming so mature that you guys ask questions that people in other states wouldn't even know to ask, allows us to continue to further get more comprehensive in the stuff that we're doing. And thus making it so that we're having conversations with vendors in ways that can save everybody a lot of time. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys speak up, that you carry strong sticks, and appreciate that we can all work together. But so what you can see here is this retention schedule right here. I know that there are some discussions legislatively about retention schedules. So keep an eye on that. And then this is a great, disposition guide that we have. If you would like to have it, printed out and put next to the secretaries, like what do we keep, what do we get rid of, et cetera, et cetera. We have for those of you that may not know, we have some different courses that we're working on for our front desk folks. So if you have any questions about specific stuff that we've got in our utility belts, let us know. But yeah, those record managers and those ISOs and those data managers and the folks that run the metadata dictionary, if that's something that's been delegated, that should be this core team of privacy, you know, powerhouses that can really do the privacy by design, the stuff that we are recognizing that is actually really important beyond all of these contractual things and these papers that we push and et cetera, et cetera. And like, is there a punishment or what is the purpose of these DPAs? And I know that we have the conversations over and over again, but at the end of the day, what I recognize is that it's what we do on the ground level when that kid feels in their gut that somebody is making them feel uncomfortable because of a privacy practice that they may have with the open microphone in the hall or talking smack in the office, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it is under the tab resources right here, the resources. Boop, boop, boop. And it's down here, education retention schedule. Alrighty. Okay, folks. I have all these ways for you to get in touch with us. This is the link to the thing that we were just talking about, the listservs, our newsletter, which will be going out soon. I can tell you that our spotlight person for the month of February is on this call. But she hasn't gotten me her stuff yet, so we didn't get to put it in the presentation. That's our website. This is our email. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be entering after hours. Does anybody have any questions for the record before we turn off the record?